everyone, and welcome to Paint with Heart here at the Paint with Heart Studios in New Hampshire. I'm Cindy Harrison, your host, and I will be showing you how to create, or should I say how to paint, this lovely Misty Mountain, which I think might be St. Helens, but I'm not sure. So before we get going, let me introduce you to my bestie and my co-host, Melissa Reyes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Reyes, and you can find me at Ms. Meliz on social media and msmeliz.com. And I wanted to share with you what the word of the week is for this week, and it is seek. So here's my card for my daily affirmations deck, and it says seek. Always look ahead, keep moving forward. So it's a great word to start this season of Paint with Heart. And here is a picture that has a long path, and in the distance there's a dark door, and you just don't know what's up there. But with faith and with friendship and people to support you, you know that you can go through that door. And even though you don't know you might not know what's behind that door, you know that whatever it is, you're going to be able to handle it. So that's the theme for today. And I really appreciate Cindy tying that into her painting, Misty Mountain. So tell us how we're going to do that today, Cindy.
Why, shall. We are going to start with an 8x10 canvas panel, and I primed it with 2 coats of Terra Coral. And now we're going to go ahead, and I drew the line on for the mountain just to give me an idea of where the mountain is living. First off, we're going to put in some of this background colors. So the top color is going to be frosted plum. And by the way, thank you all for being here today. I want you to know that we appreciate you coming and painting with us.
Yes, welcome back. And we're really excited about a new season. Cindy's a little underwhelming because I think she's under the weather, but I'm excited, and I have enough excitement for both of us. So thank you so much for being here, everybody.
I'm going to pick up just on the corner of my brush. I'm going to scoop up some of that frosted plum. So it's just in the corner. And I'm going to start at the top, and with a fair amount of water, I want to move that paint across the surface. And we're going to, if you need to pre-wet, that would help too. Walk it down. And by walking it down, I mean bring it down to just about the top of the mountain. If you need to start back up here with the color, make sure your canvas is relatively moist. So you're getting some lining, but that's okay as long as you're going left to right and it's lining. You see that line of Terra Coral that's showing through there. It's okay because the Earth's atmosphere is like that at night, if you notice. I wet my brush and just walk it up a little bit to soften. Now I'm going to do the bottom part where the mountain ends. We're going to do that with raspberry. This time I'm going to pre-wet my area on both sides. You can go through the mountain if you want, or you can just stay on one side or the other. So I'm going to do the raspberry, start down there, walk it up till it fades away. About 1/3 of the distance from the base of the mountain to the top of the sky, top of the canvas. Make sure you go the same distance here that you did on that side. If you have a mop, you can mop it out. and that will alleviate some of the paint lines. Again, it's not as important because it's the sky, and the sky has lines from the clouds. If I didn't go all the way over here, I'm going to pick up some more. Make sure, go over that line. Now we need to lighten up this middle section. So I'm going to take some of the Terra Coral and I'm going to mix it with just on my brush. I'm not mixing it with the palette knife or anything like that. But on the corner of my brush, I'm going to pick up both the Terra Coral and the white, same corner. And I want it a little bit more white than Terra Coral, but lighter than the base. And I want to go right through the middle. So what I might want to do is dry what I have here, and then I can not worry about me taking off what I just put on. So this might be a little lighter than I want. I'm going to let it dry first and see if it dries too light. But yeah, I just pre-wet that area, went over with the mixture of white and Terra Coral, keeping the white part of the brush in the middle. So if you load up the corner of your brush here, you're always going to keep that in the center area mostly. So work it up, turn it over, start where you stop and work it down. And if you don't want this on here, you can take your watered brush and you can wash it off. But I went through just to make sure I have it at the same height, covering the same area. And we're going to paint this a dark color, so it's not a big deal. Get all that moisture off of there. So let's blow dry that. Yeah, once I dried it, it toned it right down, so it looks a little whiter on the computer than it does to my eyes here. But I think it'll be fine. I'm going to go a little darker with the frosted plum up here. So let's pre-wet again. And pick up that frosted plum. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of that frosted plum over top of the raspberry down here. Have a fair amount of water if you don't pre-wet. I'm just going to add a little bit, about 1/3 of the way of the distance of the width of the raspberry. So however much raspberry you have, just 1/3 of that's going to have the dusty plum. And go over your graphite line, because if you miss some spots and you don't make your mountain up to that line, you're going to have the background showing through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix, I'll put everyone on mute again. I'm going to mix Royal Purple with Blue Harbor and Deep Midnight Blue. So this dot and this dot is the same size. This is half of the size of one of those dots. Make sense? 1 to 1 to half. And I am going to mix this with my palette knife because I want that consistent color as I paint my mountain in. So you want to do probably at least a nickel size. So now take your palette knife and mix those together. Always keep your puddles. Sometimes people mix colors, they spread their paint all around. And the thinner the paint puddle is, the faster it'll dry. So you want, when you're mixing your colors, keep all your paint in a puddle, all close together. So there's my paint puddle. I can take the excess and just put it there. And then take my brush. I want you to base coat all along that graphite line that you created when you traced on your design. So I start away from the line and then I work my way up to the line, and it's not straight, it's earth, it's rigid. I mean, it's ridges, uneven earth. And if you don't want to make it a volcano, just bring this to a peak up here. Once I get this completed, I'm going to be blow drying it to speed it up. So because my background is coming through on this a little bit more than I want it to, I'm going to go back and put another coat of paint. We're like halfway there. Can you believe it? So we'll have a little mini commercial. The 2017 Christmas Ornament Collection book is ready. So if you're interested, the book is $25. It's got way more pages in it than last year. And it has both the test tube ornament instructions and it has the box lid. Did you all see the box lid?
It's so cool. I can't believe that box lid, like a magazine. It's really nice.
Yes, it's going to be like that, only it's got more pages in it because I have more content.
And there's to be full color pictures inside, as well as the line drawings and full instructions for all of the ornaments that we made this year. And then this one's still available too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's so cool. Look at that.
So this is the ornament cover, and I did what they call a dirty pour of 3 colors on here, and then I hit a heat gun to it, which created these crackles, which is really cool. But it, you know, you can get, every time you do it, it'll be a different result. And then painted the bow on top of it. So this is the lid to the storage box to house your ornaments in, and that nice. All that instructions are in there.
It's so cool. I can't wait to make mine. So I have all those ornaments we already made.
Right, and I think you can fit both ears in it too.
Oh, good.
I think, I didn't try it, but I think you can. So let's see, what was the other thing we wanted to say? Definitely, if you can, share this out, or share, if you see the replay, share the replay out on YouTube, and ring the little bell, subscribe, comment.
Well, it's great that we're looking at your Misty Mountain as you're saying that, but let's see if I could do this right. So ring the little bell. When she says ring the little bell, it's that notifications on YouTube. it's one thing to subscribe and to like, but if you click on the bell icon, then you'll be notified every time Cindy posts a new video. So we want you to be one of the first ones to see that, because when those videos first go on, it's within the first 24 hours that if they're seen, viewed, and commented on, that helps Cindy to get more views. And the views are so important on YouTube right now for our success. And so we're really asking you to do that as a special favor to help us to become more successful on YouTube. Thank you.
So, yeah, because that's awesome.
Okay, what's next, Mrs.
Okay.
Harrison?
This is our base color. My
Yes.
brush has a little moisture in it, not a lot, but I'm going to pick up some white. And then I'm going to pick up some of this color. And I'm going to mix it together. I want more base than white, but I want enough white so it looks different than this. Now at this point, if you need to go in and trace on all those little squiggly lines here, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm going to just wing it. It doesn't have to be identical to my inspiration. It can just, as long as it has some variation, some movement. So I'm going to touch down and see how, so that's a good, it's not too light, not too dark. And I'm going to, this is snow top. This is actually snow on the top of the mountain, but it's in the shade area. So I'm going to kind of bring it down. You can have it meet up with each other. You can bring it back over here. You can taper it off. You can bring it down as farther or not as far. It's just giving movement to your mountain top. And making it appear snow-capped. When it doesn't move, I add a little moisture. And as it comes over here, you're gonna go more straight down, and then as it goes the other way, you go the other way. Make sense? If you run out, go pick up some more. And I'm gonna stop about halfway here. I picked up a little bit more white. And there's lots of ridges. If you want to lay the brush down, meaning like this close to the surface, then you can kind of squiggle back and forth and it trails a different kind of, these different kind of trail. So let's go back over here. You can use some fatter, some thinner. Now, if you add a little bit more white, even, we can start over here. Because this side's going to be the side that has the sun hitting it. And again, I'm not looking at my original too much. I'm just kind of going according to a little bit more white, how I feel. Creating ridges. If you want to add some highlights to some of the already on there, you can do that. So you can add as many or as few as you want on this. Obviously, it's your mountain. It's your volcano. It's whatever it is you want it to be. If when you add the next color and you add more white to it, if you just tap it on the outer edges and not cover all of it, you can start to lift your brush up a little bit. It's a hit or miss kind of thing. It starts to give you the illusion that you've got the sun coming in from this side. You don't want to bring that light color over here. You want to keep it to this side here, definitely to the left. I'm kind of smushing it down as I go. So I'm going to wipe the brush off. I'm not washing it out. I'm just wiping it up, adding a little bit more of the mix to that white so I can kind of add another value in here, or another tone, I should say. So that's all this is just playing with the different tones, kind of like a paint by number, but not. Now, if you feel that some of your areas got, you want to add some shadows to some of those areas, you can go in and take a little bit of the deep midnight blue and add it to that mountain mix, and that will be your dark value. This is where I will, let's see, a little bit more base, just so I can get some interest over here. I don't want a lot. I'm going to wash my brush out, and I'm going to pick up some of that dark color. Pick up your base, add some of that deep midnight blue. Now I'm going to add it on this side into some of those, break up some of that color, put it at the base. I'm sure you can see it, but I see it right now. You want to go in with straight Payne's gray, you can. If you're afraid you're making a straight line, push your brush toward just a little bit. You really shouldn't be pushing your brush, but just a little bit to force some of that off your brush. So see how it's starting to create the shadows, movements of your mountain. Whereas the sun is either setting here or coming up, I think this is more of a sunset. You can go ahead with that mix, a little bit of Terra coral and some of that white, watered down, and go ahead and tap some of that in, and then tap it off, or wipe off the excess off your brush. And then we can kind of give it, the sun is kind of creating a reflected light onto our surface, onto our mountain. Pick up some more of this mix, some more white. Add some more levels, more layers to my, no right, no wrong. It's just random. Just random. Add a little bit more white to your mix. You can hit the tops of the ones over here. Add a little bit dark to the mix. You can shade. So pretty much that's how we do that. I'm going to shade down this side here to make it a little darker, and I'm going to go in with
Deep Midnight Blue.
just a touch of the mix. And come down the right side just to tone down. You need to pre-wet, pre-wet. I want to tone down that side of the mountain. If you have any areas that you want to add a little bit more darkness to, you can do that as well. I'm thinking this pink here is a little brighter than I would like it to be. So I'm gonna take my base mix, a little bit of water, just kind of tone that down a little bit. So that's how you tone down bright colors you think shouldn't be there. If you want to get a little bolder, just add a little bit more white to that mix, and you can tap the top where you feel the sun would hit. The brightest. This is straight white. Now we're going to move down to this area here. Make sure it's dry. And I'm going to just pre-wet. Let's go for it. I'm going to pre-wet this area. And then I'm going to take my brush and pick up, again, brush mixing a little bit of the white into a little bit of your base mix. And you're making probably more base mix than white. And I'm going to flip it so that the corner of my brush with the paint in it is at the top and the water is at the bottom. On a diagonal, I'm going to pull some, I'm going to call them clouds, fog, whatever you want to call it, in here. Try not to make them all the same. This is the mist. Misty in the Misty Mountain. Pick up a little bit more of the white, mix it in with that mix. Tuck some of that in. And I'm going up and down as I go skipping across. So it's like skipping rocks. And all the hairs are touching for the most part. So we've got this misty stuff going on here. Don't hesitate to go right off the canvas. While that's misting, I'm going to pick up just a little bit of the raspberry. And it's in my dirty brush. I didn't wash my brush out. And I'm going to put it facing the sun area. If the sun's coming from over here, face it that way on some of these clouds or some of this mist. And with that mix, if you want to touch some of the areas on your mountain, again, I would just stick to this side of the mountain. I wouldn't go beyond halfway. But when you blow dry that, let's see. So you can add more snow if you want, make more ridges, add more values just by, you can, with a palette knife, mix this with a little bit more, a little bit white, a little bit more white, a lot more white kind of thing. And you can have pre-mixed your values. So if you go from the lightest to the darkest, which would be these two mixed together or that at the bottom, and then you can play with that and get the color variation you're looking for to create interest in your mountain. And it's skipping along. I'm not drawing a solid straight line. I'm just kind of skipping along. With this color. So wherever you look in the camera's eye, wherever you feel you need more of that color, because you have too much of a blob of white or too much of a blob of the base coat. And you're just creating movement. And I could play with this all day. If it gets too light, you don't want it that light in that area, just add a little bit more of the base. Bring it down as far as you want. Kind of cool. I'm thinking I'm going to bring these up a little higher so that you don't notice where the mountain ends.
Yeah, because it just looks like it's the bottom of the mountain, and then it's the top.
Yeah. So if I bring, oops, let's add a little bit more of that. If I bring that a little bit in like that.
Oh, there you go.
I think that will get rid of this glare. That will be
Yeah, I like that.
That raspberry. I like the raspberry better than the Terra coral on there.
Photograph is amazing.
I think that'll be better. So then it looks more like it's in the mist. Right.
Right.
To them, feel free to share this with your friends.
Right.
It's like that herbal essence commercial, you tell two friends and they tell two friends and they tell two friends and then they tell two friends. So
right.
That's how we're gonna get out there and get people interested, because I need to more people to paint. I love you all, but I want more people to pick up a paintbrush.
Right.
So that I want everyone to feel that sense of uh, accomplishment and like, oh my goodness, this really looks awesome. Like Melissa said when she looked at her painting and she's like, I don't like it. And then she looked at it through the camera's eye. She goes, oh, it doesn't look half bad. It looks pretty good. It looks better than half good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing about this is after, if anything that I do, you don't care for it yourself, it doesn't match your home decor, you can't give it to the dog, you can still paint it and learn a technique from it, or just to do it to be social even, and then you can either paint over the canvas with a white primer and have it for the next project, or do it on paper, gesso the paper so that you don't have it absorbing your paint, that you can have it on top, and put it in your portfolio for posterity.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to Paint with Heart today. I really enjoyed watching Cindy showing us how to paint that Misty Mountain. Sure looked beautiful, and I'm so inspired for the rest of the year and for the rest of this next season of Paint with Heart, and I hope you are too. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much, Cindy.
Thank you, Melissa, for being my bestie once again on my show, Paint with Heart, and everyone for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you are on YouTube watching us, please like us and subscribe to us.
Leave a comment
below, and also ring that little bell, and then you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And so you won't miss any tips or tricks that I might share with the world. So until next week, remember to always paint with heart. Good night, everyone.